Heading into this week's FOMC meeting where likely a rate cut is on the table, I think we're going to have a lot more clarity in the market moving forward. And I really just think we have to adjust our timelines because of certain events that have occurred in the market and in the economic landscape. In this video, I'm going to go over why I do think the cycle is just slightly delayed. And maybe this is the thing that a lot of people have been inferring, that we aren't actually on a 4-year cycle anymore. So we'll go over my thesis, why I'm still bullish to close out the year, maybe the extended cycle thesis. But on top of that, there's so much good things going on between a lot of our altcoin holdings. I want to talk about that as well as altcoins that I'm looking at in the market right now that could be accumulations heading into Wednesday's FOMC. If we get that rate cut that we're looking for, it could spring the markets bullish. So without further ado, let's jump into it. We'll keep this video short and sweet, but first and foremost, before we dive into the content, be sure to drop down below, hit that like button if you're getting value out of the videos, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more every single week here on In the Game. We have you covered with everything you need in the crypto markets to come out on top this bull cycle. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have some incredible sponsors. Today, I want to give a big shout out to one of the leading AI platforms on Binance Smart Chain, and that is 𝗓𝗄𝗅. You can build games, images, worlds, assets inside of different worlds, as well as AI videos, all on one platform. You can see many created games here by users of the platform. But on top of that, they are really, like I said, the premier AI project underneath the Binance Smart Chain. They have the official approval from BNB and Binance Smart Chain, and they were actually recently doing some events alongside the BNB season with Aster and everything like that. A big shout out to 𝗓𝗓𝗅 as a sponsor on the show, and also their token's been performing very well. So you can check out 𝗓𝗓𝗅 down below in the description. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. And like I said, I think we just have to look at the market objectively. After those liquidations, this market has been rocky, to say the least. I think the only altcoin really doing much of anything to the upside in this market are two that we're very bullish on. One being Hyperliquid. If we look at the weekly chart here on Hype, up 28%, which is awesome to see. And we also have 𝗬𝗨, which is up 50% this month, still sitting at that 446 mark. But we'll talk about these here in just a second. Otherwise, the market's getting hammered. We look at a bunch of altcoins really struggling to find their footing, and it has a lot of people questioning, like we talked about on yesterday's very candid video where I just spilled a bunch of market thoughts. A lot of people are questioning, look, are altcoins ever going to make it out alive? Is it really just, entity-driven crypto now, right? Governments and all these companies control Bitcoin. Is that only going to be the narrative moving forward? I really don't think so. I think after the liquidation event, it is still kind of trying to shake out market participants at this point in time. And the one thing I'm fearful of is they're going to run the same playbook all over again. We're probably going to see the market get back into a state of quote unquote euphoria. Things are going to start looking up, and then people are going to over leverage again, probably end up getting another leverage flush out. That is worst case scenario, but the way that this cycle has played out, that seems to be probably most likely to happen, right? They're going to pump up the market, prop up the market again, some fashion of market manipulation, rinse out leverage once again. And that could be the moment where people actually say, hey, we need to stop using leverage. Spot bags are what win in the space every single time. So that's kind of a theory I have regarding that. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I do think the leverage space is just really what's been killing the momentum in the market at certain points in time. On top of that, we have to take a look. This has not been a typical 4-year cycle in the fact that we had a black swan event, October 10th manipulation crash, the liquidations. That's number one. Number two, we have a government shutdown in October, which is typically Bitcoin's most bullish month. So a lot of things were paused. We didn't get a few ETF approvals that we were looking for. But number three, on top of that, is we have gold in the stock market at all-time highs. Previous cycles, 2021 bull market for crypto, That was not the case. So we're battling a bunch of different things and circumstances in the market. I still see a very good end of the year coming for assets like Bitcoin and major altcoins. And on top of that, I think the cycle extends into early 2026. First of all, on Wednesday, we have rate cuts coming. And you see here on 𝗓𝗓 prediction markets predicting that we will get exactly 3 rate cuts. I do think tomorrow's FOMC meeting is going to be bullish for the future of the rest of the year, I should say, as we could get those 3 rate cuts before the end of the year. I'm definitely going to be tuned in and potentially trading the FOMC. We'll see how that goes. I will be traveling tomorrow, so no video, but I will have you guys updated on Thursday. But then looking at the market here, you see major altcoins really just stuck at these levels. Let's go through some news first and foremost on some altcoins in the portfolio. Let's take a look at then prices, what could be a good stab for a DCA for the rest of the year. And then on top of that, some opportunities to take advantage of during a slow time in the market. So moving on, we see here the reason that Hyperliquid is really resurging in its dominance here is, first of all, they are the true decentralized player. I am still very bullish on Aster. I do think that Binance is not going to let Aster die. I mean, this is their shot at a Hyperliquid. So buybacks are actually happening and they begin tomorrow. We can see here that they will be all executed on chain. The repurchased tokens will be transferred to this address used for the season 2 buyback. So they are about to start buying back tokens. And from what I have seen, they will happen daily, as you can see here in the Aster Discord. So that'll be bullish. But a lot of that stuff, people still kind of label it as Binance. The real decentralized player here is Hyperliquid. This is why Hype's almost back at that $50 level. And they listed, the Hyperliquid token got listed on Robinhood. And then actually yesterday, they listed Robinhood stock on Hyperliquid. So a lot of good stuff going on in the Hype ecosystem. And I do just think as far as altcoin strength, there really is nothing that competes with Hyperliquid in that regard this cycle. However, like I said, I still am bullish on Aster, and I want to see the flywheel occurring as Binance's premier DEX kind of doing those buybacks consistently. Moving on to the AI narrative, we do see here 𝗬 is at a big point of resistance. So right now at this 446 level, if we can break through here, let's just look at the all chart here on 𝗬. If we can break through here, we were unable to break through this in May. We were unable to break through this level in July. And we haven't seen higher than that level where we kind of currently are around that 450 mark since January. And that's whenever Trump coin launched and really just destroyed the whole market. So if we can push through here, I mean, I think it could be clear paths to $500 and above. And my target this cycle for 𝗬 is easily $1,000. I don't want to set targets too high. If it goes higher, we're all going to be happy. This is my biggest AI portfolio holding. But with the 𝗬 halving in December, I think there's a good chance that we see 𝗬 outperform most altcoins in the month of November. I would absolutely agree. And I've even thought at any time throughout this month that if 𝗬 does have any sort of dip, I'll probably be adding to that bag, because even if it's a buy the rumor, sell the news trade, I think heading into the halving at the end of the year for BitTensor 𝗬, I think that is an easy upside trade. Also on the AI spectrum is XBorg. Now, this is actually one of the altcoins in the market currently that has been holding up better than most, and it's a lower market cap token. A lot of low caps have been absolutely crushed during this time period. We actually see here XBorg still up 38% on the monthly, a $23 million circulating market cap. They've been bull posting a ton about, this upcoming narrative, the XBorg AI side that they're pushing. You can see here onboard beta testers and then launch points campaign. So it seems like they're going to be doing some sort of airdrop or rewards mechanism here. And like I had tweeted, they've been bull posting a lot about the Hyperliquid ecosystem and also, AI. So maybe there's something in that intersection, and a points campaign, which could be rewards. And then we see here they posted today 48 hours. This was as of 7 a.m. my local time. So they're definitely leading into something here. I will be looking out for this. But another altcoin that if we do see some clarity and we get a little bit more of bullish momentum, I would not be surprised to see XBorg surpass past its old all-time highs. We see here all-time highs were around that 40-cent level here back in December and January. So I'm absolutely looking at those to break through over the coming months. And then on top of that, just looking across the market, a few that are frustrating because of how quality the project is versus where the price action has been is Avalanche as well as 𝗬𝗎. But those are two I'm very confident in. I'm not buying more. I have plenty in my portfolio currently. But if AVAX goes below $20, if 𝗬𝗎 stays at this 250 range for too long, I definitely might be throwing in some DCAs on those tokens as well. 𝗓𝗲 has had a nice resurgence off of its lows, but today is down 12% again. So if this one continues to fall amidst market uncertainty, I would absolutely put another DCA in on 𝗓𝗲, one of the strongest projects in the space, just really a victim right now of buy the rumor, sell the news on their mainnet launch. And then moving along in the market. So like I said, I'm sitting on my hands. I said this yesterday. This is not a time where I'm looking across the market just throwing all, my stable coins at everything I see. I want to keep my stable coins for active trades whenever the market gives me confirmation. So my portfolio, I'm very cozy just sitting in and letting it materialize as we've trimmed it down to just only conviction plays. What I am doing is dabbling around in stuff that is going to provide future returns, airdrops, prediction markets. So on the Saturday prediction market show, by the way, we got great feedback on this, so we will keep doing this once a week. I think that, first of all, I enjoy, because it's a different type of a trade, right? Like I titled the video was the future of trading. It's a different type of trading. Last night, I dabbled in the mention markets on Monday Night Football. We did Sunday Night Football. We actually hit the pick that we gave here, which was cheesehead to be said on the Sunday Night Football show. But there's plenty of decentralized ways to just potentially farm airdrops as well. We see here CZ coming out and backing Opinion Labs XYZ. This is a prediction market which is seemingly built on the Binance Smart Chain, and they have a point system, so this could definitely factor into a future airdrop. On top of that, this is on Solana. This is a leveraged prediction market. So for people who like to leverage trade, obviously that's like the theme of the cycle with all the perp dexes out there. This is probably a great opportunity for people to be able to get involved and actually use the prediction market space, just like trading. So leverage prediction market. I do think that this is going to have a ton of upside as well. And then on top of that, I use 𝗓𝗲 every single day. I have some money in Poly market. Both of them are projected to do airdrops. We see here on the prediction market side, 𝗓𝗲, Poly market, and Myriad. Myriad is built on Abstract. All of these have future potential airdrops lined up down the road. We also see the Monad checker went live today. A lot of people posting about the allocation that they got for Monad, which is it's been such a hype protocol for so long. And then Project X, if you guys aren't farming this is on Hyperliquid. So first of all, super high upside ecosystem, but you can swap any chain to chain within a couple of minutes. Most bridges take 15 to 20 minutes if you're going from some of these diverse chains to another. And then on top of that, you're just farming points towards a future airdrop. So I would absolutely get involved here with Project X on Hyperliquid. And if you want, I will drop links down below in the description to get involved with Project X. And then on top of that, with gaming has been a tough narrative, and I will always see the bright side of crypto gaming. I think that there is a path forward. We just really haven't found it yet, and we just have to be patient in that regard. But looking at some of the stuff in the space right now, there's a really quality MMO RPG that the gameplay is starting to come out, which is really exciting to see. I still am bullish on Off the Grid. They need to make some adjustments with just the way that they're going about the Web3 side. But regardless, we see Cambria today, which is, kind of a hybrid between Abstract and Ronin. They announced their $2 million funding from Bitcraft and Sky Mavis to keep building their Degen native MMO with massive on-chain stakes. So this is awesome to see. We also have Project O doing some, pre-sale stuff I've seen in some groups that I'm in. And on top of that, we have Football.Fun coming out with their American football
protocol. I'm really excited about that, and we'll definitely be diving in here on this channel. And then Providence. Providence, this is one from GDC earlier this year that got a lot of hype. A lot of people that played this during that time period. I saw a lot of the Wolves DAO community, etc., very excited about this game. They say that they have a pre-sale unlike anything ever seen, progressive token launch driven by utility, participation, and proof of contribution, not speculation. It's not about exits, it's about entry. So I'm excited to see where this goes. It's a really solid team behind Providence, and they do have some good hype behind them. I'm excited to see kind of what comes out of this as far as their pre-sale and how they plan to diversify this versus previous gaming launches, which have been pretty rough. But that's really it for today's video, guys. I am just looking at the market objectively. I'm not reaching, I'm not wasting stable coins trying to overtrade. I will be looking for some trades during FOMC. I think it's a good time for volatility and whether you can find that long or short opportunity based on expectations. But regardless, I'm gonna be patient. I don't think this is the time to capitulate, sell your altcoins or anything like that. I think it's the time to kind of hunker down, spend time in these platforms. It is, the time of the cycle where I think things are starting to get fruitful. We're going to see the government reopen. We're going to see more ETF approvals. We're going to see rate cuts. We're going to see gold lose momentum, people coming back into crypto, coming back into Bitcoin. So I really do think everything that's happened is leading into a huge bullish storm, a storm of momentum to the upside. We just have to weather it for the time being. So make sure that boat doesn't sink, and definitely don't cut the sails short right now before potentially one of the most explosive times in the market that we have seen in 2025 and really in the last few years. I think that there really is something brewing. It's frustrating having to wait for it, but we'll see it play out as it does. So guys, like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.